Hi there friends, Debbie with Debbie Gets Crafty, and just here today working on my summer garden. Yes, this is upside down. This is the point of the painting when I flip it around and work on the top portion of the painting. So you are not seeing anything out of the ordinary. This is, like I said, the time of the painting where I turn it upside down to work on the top portion. And so I thought I'd do a quick little WIP and chat. Let me grab my little clock so I can time it. I usually like to take about a half an hour to do a WIP and chat. And so I've got my trusty little clock here. And what we'll do is we're going to work on this section right here. All right, and this is the letter I, and this is the color 3865 on the DMC. Now I do have this patch here. I've got a couple of little patches around that I need to work on the letter I. So we'll get started. I'm just going to dump the whole rest of the bottle out because I am hoping to get this all this one color done and do what I call retire that color. So we're just going to pour that in my little purple boat because I think the white shows up nicely in the purple boat. And give it a little shake. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to move this over a little bit. There we go. And let's go ahead and get started. How are you today? I hope you're having a great day. I am having a wonderful day. Any chance I get to spend some time with you all, it's a win in my book, and I'm so blessed because of it. So we're just going to place some drills, do a quick little WIP and chat, see what everybody's up to, post in the comments below what you're working on. I've got this painting going, which it is nearing the end. I've got a little bit more to go on it, and then I am going to start my cowboy boots and sunflowers stained glass canvas, which I am so excited about. I've got that all kitted up, so you will have seen that video. And let's see here, not much else is going on. It is it's been really hot here in Middle Tennessee, which I think in most of my recent videos that's what I've been saying. It's been really hot in Middle Tennessee, but it's like a rinse and repeat kind of a thing. And I'm going to go over here and just do these few little spots as well and get those filled in. But yeah, that's what's been going on, you know, just work and home and Spoto and the heat. And that's really about it. Not much else, but that's fine. And diamond painting, of course. Todd and I are expecting some Temu orders to come in very soon, so we'll see some unboxings or unbaggings, however they happen to arrive, most likely bags. And then we'll go ahead and do that. Other than that, really not much else is going on. And that's okay. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We like it just exactly like that. Nice and quiet and peaceful. Some may call it boring, and we're okay with that. I do want to say thank you so much for, if you are a current subscriber, I appreciate your support. If you have not yet subscribed, I do ask that you at least consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that bell notification so you'll be notified when I post a video, and I certainly would appreciate that. Also, leave a comment. I do try to answer all comments that come in. I at least give them a little notification, you know, a heart or a like, and to acknowledge that I did see it. But I do try to answer each and every comment. Let's go ahead over here. I've got a few down here. And this picture's been really nice. I mean, there are a few spots that are a bit confetti heavy, but I expected that. You have to have a bit of confetti in some of these pictures because it creates the shadows and it creates the depth. Sorry, I'm off camera, but there's only a few down here that I need to attend to. But you know, the confetti creates depth and shadows, and you know, it gives a little something extra to a picture. So I'm not, you know, a confetti hater. I'm not a big fan of it, but if it's in the picture, I'll do it. I prefer my color blocking, but you know, I mean, like I said, without confetti, you don't have any depth of the picture. You can't create different layers in a look. So I welcome confetti as well, in moderation. So we're just filling in some spots. I'm moving a little further up in the shot. Again, I apologize. I'm not lowering the camera just to put a few drills down there in that area. But I did want to address that little area there. Because Lord knows I will, you know, happily tra-la-la along and fill in everything and then put the color away and say, oh, it's all done. And then look down at the bottom of the picture or the top of the picture once it's flipped up right and say, oh, I forgot those half a dozen little buggers right there. That would be typical Debbie. And just, I like to, and I know I've said this before, but it bears repeating. What I like to do, and listen, you can diamond paint in any way, shape, or form that you like to, but what I enjoy doing, and I find it a little bit easier, is I will scope out, I section off, I'll pick a section, say I'm going to pick this section right here, and I will take a look and see what color I see the most of, and then I'll fill that color in first, and then I'll look and I'll say, okay, well, what's the next color that there's the most of? And then I'll fill that one in. And then I go, you know, so on and so forth. And the numbers, you know, the amounts of each color will get smaller and smaller. And to me, it's easier for me to find the smaller colors, especially when it's a confetti type situation, if there's confetti mixed in. When it gets down to the smaller colors, to me, it's a little easier and a little less, I don't know, daunting. Like I don't look at it like, oh God, there's so much confetti. I look at it and I'll say, okay, I have the letter I is the most colors that I need to fill in. So I'll fill that in. And then, you know, go so on and so forth. And by the time I'm filling in the confetti, it doesn't seem like it's so, to me, annoying. I don't know, for the lack of a better word, annoying. Like I said, you can diamond paint any way, shape, or form or fashion that you like. That's just a little something that I like to do. And to me, it works out great. Just like when I checkerboard, you know, sometimes if I have a large area of a single color, which is called color blocking, I will checkerboard. And all that means is that you will place a drill every other spot, and then you'll fill it in. And it really works if you have like a large block of colors, like if you have some of these stained glass pictures that I'm going to be doing in the near future have a white background to them, and it's a lot of color blocking, and that's when I will mostly do my checkerboarding. Now, I don't checkerboard all the time. Sometimes I choose to, you know, just fill in row by row or whatever. But most of the time, if I have a larger area, I will checkerboard. And it just, to me, once I have every other space filled in, and then you only have to fill in the empty spaces, to me it feels like it goes by a lot faster. I mean, you're spending the same amount of time filling in each, spot, but to me it just feels like it goes a little faster. I don't know. You can't figure me out. I'm just an enigma wrapped in a crazy old lady. So, oh goodness. And I'm sure you don't know this, but it's about 5:30 in the morning because that's when I usually have a little bit of time to myself to do a little bit of diamond painting, because by 6 a.m. Spoto is up and ready to go. He wants to eat, he wants to play, he wants all the attention, and I am more than happy to give it to him. But that means that my diamond painting gets put to the side. So early in the morning is when I get to focus on doing some crafting. And that's okay. I'm a morning person, so I don't mind it. I'm just filling in as I go along. I started over there, but then I just ended up gravitating over here to the left. So I'll just continue working and finding wherever there's a letter I will fill that in. But this canvas came along really nicely. I'm really pleased with it. I love the colors. When it's done, you'll see, I mean, the purples, it's just a beautiful, it's filled with purples and blues, and it's got the candlelight, it's got the fireflies or lightning bugs, whichever you prefer to call them. The hydrangeas, which are one of my favorite flowers. I love hydrangeas, I love peonies, I love roses, I love sunflowers. I really don't know which one, how to rank my favorite flowers. I really don't know. They're all, when I say my favorite, they all have a special place in my heart. So, and I have a very hard time making up my mind. I'm a Libra, so I do have a hard time making up my mind. In some ways. There are some respects where I don't have a problem at all. My mind is set and that's it. But there's some times where I really do struggle with making up my mind. And my favorite flower happens to be one of them. And I love daisies. Daisies rank right up there as well. My Aunt Anne, God rest her soul, she loved African violets. She collected African violets, I should say. She had many different varieties of African violets, and they were all so beautiful. My twin sister Judy from All Fired Up Crafting Lounge, she and her husband, they like, oh my stars, I can't even think of it. Now I'm embarrassed. Oh, what are those flowers? My gosh. Now I can't think of it. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. They're not lilies. Good grief. I'll post the name of the flower that they love. My brother-in-law George, he is a very, very talented gentleman when it comes to plants and flowers. Orchids, that's it, orchids. They have some of the most beautiful orchids that they collect. And again, my brother-in-law George, Judy's husband, very talented when it comes to keeping plants and flowers. Very knowledgeable as well. especially when it comes to plants and flowers that are native to their state of Florida. That man is practically a flower and plant encyclopedia, a walking encyclopedia. He's fascinating to talk to when it comes to plants and flowers, because he just, and you can just see he lights up when he starts talking about that. That's a passion of his, and I just love it. So Judy, tell George I said hello and I love him, and I hope his orchids are doing well. I'm sure they are. They're redoing their backyard and putting in, he wants to concentrate on a garden and plants and trees and such that are native to Florida. And again, he just lights up. You can tell in his voice when he starts talking about that, you know, what his plans are. And I love that. You know, you hear that type of passion in anybody, whatever they do. Me with my crafting and cooking, and, you know, my brother-in-law George with his plants and flowers. When you hear somebody that has that passion and they light right up, I just find that so fascinating. And that could be for just about anything. If you're passionate about it, you can project that to the world, and the world will know how much you love that craft or that hobby. And that is what it's all about. So getting back to the colors in this, it really is so pretty. And when I saw this picture, the hydrangeas are what caught my eye, honestly. And you'll see when it's all done, you know, the light pads off and the hydrangea is right here. It's really so pretty, and that's what really, like I said, set that off for me. So other than that, that's what's happening in my neck of the woods. And let's see, just filling in these little spots here. I have a little cluster down here that I want to fill in too. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and tackle that. I might as well, right? It's got to get done. I think I just filled in. Nope, that's an eye. Let me just give this another shimmy shake. There we go. And just been working. I work from home. My husband works from home, so that's convenient for Spoto. We don't have to leave him alone or have anybody come in and walk him. We take him out on our breaks and lunches. And he has been doing very well. Feisty as always. It's been so warm here in Tennessee that I thought I had one on there. Come on. There we go. Honestly, these days, I tell my husband, because my husband gets out of work before I do, so he makes sure dinner is on the table when I get out of work. And I feel bad for him because it's been so hot, and he cooks, you know, these delicious meals, and we've been eating, you know, instead of side dishes, we've been having just a salad with our you know, with our protein, like chicken, and then we'll have a salad on the side or whatever, because it's just too bloody hot. So I'm pulling out some of my crock pot recipes that we can just throw together in the morning and not have to worry about it, and it's not going to heat the house up. And he doesn't have to stand there and prep, you know, dinner in a hot kitchen. We are not hot weather people in this house. It didn't used to bother us when we were younger, but the older we get, the more we don't like the hot weather. I am an open the windows kind of gal and let the fresh air in and the breeze and all that. That's the weather that I like. A nice crisp spring day or fall day. Nice breeze in the air. No humidity. Yes, that's my jam. And so yeah, with cooking, we are going to be using the crock pot a little bit more. Instapot, great recipes. No, you know, it doesn't put off, you know, heat in the kitchen, and they're done quickly. And I'll tell you something, if you don't have an Instapot, it is a considerable purchase, but I'll tell you something, it's an investment. Especially if you get one that's a multi-function, like that does the slow cooking, and you know, you can make all different kinds of things in it. We have one of those, and I use it as a slow cooker and as an Instapot as well, and I love it. I also have a larger crock pot that we cook ribs and, you know, bigger pieces of meat in. During the summer months, well, a crock pot to me is a year-round type of a thing. During the summer months, it's great because it doesn't let off a lot of heat in the house. You set it, you forget it, literally. In the winter months, in the fall, you know, and winter months, I love it because, you know, we make a lot of different foods that we enjoy in the winter and fall that are slow cooker meals. So for me, a slow cooker is a year-round type of a utensil, type of a kitchen gadget that we have to have. My camera stand is right here, so if you see me reaching around, you know, in different angles, it's because I'm reaching around the camera stand. It attaches to my desk. And that's what my camera's on. So yes, the crock pot, the slow cooker, the Instapot, great utensils to have. To me, year-round necessities in the kitchen. Now I'm just going around randomly trying to find the letter I. But we have a lot of different recipes that we'd like to do. Even in the wintertime, we'll make ribs in the crock pot. We make a homemade barbecue sauce with them. And then I make what we call a chicken a la queen. And it's a super simple recipe, friends. You take 2 or 3, we usually do 3, nice sized chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast. 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and 2 cans of cheddar cheese soup. And that literally is the recipe. What we do is I always, except for ribs, whenever I'm cooking like chicken or any kind of beef, I always like to brown my meat first before I put it in the crock pot. That's just me. It creates a nice little crust. It looks a little nicer. If I do pork chops in a crock pot, I will brown the pork chops as well. To me, because when you put just the meat in the crock pot and you just cook it that way, to me, it doesn't look so appealing. It looks kind of grayish. I don't know. I've always been in the school of thought, brown the meat before you put it in the crock pot. Again, ribs are the exception. Of course, you don't brown ribs. So, you brown your chicken breasts, and then you put those in the crock pot, and then you pour the cream of chicken soup, and then you pour both cans of the cheddar cheese soup. Make sure that you pour them, over all the pieces of chicken breast, and you can leave the chicken breast whole. And then you set your crock pot to low for 8 hours, 6 hours, however long, and let it go. And then when you're ready to eat, you can either just take the breast out and cut it. My husband will actually shred it and then put it back into the gravy because it makes a great gravy. And we serve it with usually white rice. We have had it with egg noodles before. Delicious. And it is a super simple recipe, literally 4 ingredients. Now, when I brown my chicken breasts or, beef or even pork chops, I always use a little salt, little pepper, and a little garlic powder to season them. When I do meat, if I'm making like a roast and I brown the meat first, I do pat a little all-purpose flour on it as well, and I'll season the flour with a little salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Honestly, the recipes that I have that we use, our go-tos, are super simple recipes because I don't like to fuss and muss in the kitchen, honestly. And a recipe like a 3 or 4 ingredient recipe, you cannot go wrong. Friends, if you ever tried that recipe, honestly, you would love it. And it makes a ton. 2 or 3 chicken breasts will make a nice batch of chicken a la queen. We usually have dinner one night, and we have enough leftovers for lunches the next day, and even enough for an extra dinner that will freeze. So it does make a ton when especially when you shred it. That's just one of the recipes that we go to. We have a ton of them. But that's the easiest one. Oops. I dropped a bead. And I'm going to pick it up. Waste not, want not. I can't believe it's already almost the middle of July. I'm not complaining because that means it's closer to fall. That's the way Todd and I look at it. And I know a lot of folks like the summertime. And that's wonderful. And I know a lot of folks hate the autumn and winter. Well, mostly winter. I respect it. I respect that. Because for your hatred of, of winter, that's how we feel about summer. We are really motoring along here. I think what I'll do is I'm going to continue on and chat with you for a few more minutes. I have an alarm that'll go off. You'll hear this little bell in the background going off, and that will be my sign to wrap it up. And I want to just ask folks, you know, I always say this at the end of my videos, just remember to be good to yourselves and watch out for one another. You know, take care of you, take care of your family, your friends, your neighbors. Please try to be the voice for all those animals out there because they don't have a voice, so they need us. And again, I always thank you for your support, your continued support. It means the world to me. I always say, you know, I'm a little crafting fish in this big crafting pond. So your support means absolutely everything to me. And when you hit that like button, it really does help. There is this huge algorithm that YouTube uses, and just by hitting that like button, that does help even the smallest of channels like mine out. And I thank you for your support as well when doing that. So I wanted to get that said as well, so this way when my little alarm goes off, I can just say, bond you a fond farewell. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of time that we've spent together as much as I have. You help me a great deal with getting these projects done, because just sitting here and chatting with you all, and it helps to make sure that I can focus on this and get this project done, because I'm very excited to start my next project. And I do have other WIPs and chats. I have the Snow White stickers that I'm working on, and I have that stained glass tulips that I'm working on. So, and those projects, I work on these larger projects even when I'm not filming. But the smaller ones, like the stickers and like that little tulip stained glass, those are projects that I will only work on when I do a WIP and chat with you folks. So, and the Snow White stickers are actually a series. I'm doing one sticker per week. I thought that would make a neat little series. And with the stained glass tulips, I only work on those as well when I'm with you. But larger projects like this one, like the sunflower stained glass cowboy boot, that's going to be worked on even when I'm not with you, because they're larger. And listen to that in the background, my friends. That little bell means it's time for me to go and start my day. My friends, thank you so much again for visiting with me. I wish you lots of love, and God bless each and every one of you. Thanks again. Until I see you again, take care, my friends. Goodbye now.